let's have another Just Flying episode, shall we? We'll take the Granda Caravan for this one. Okay, let's get going. From here at Cheviot Airstrip in New Zealand, which was my latest scenery I made. Mind the field of sheep at the end, that's good. Yeah, we're away. Okay then, yeah, next leg of the Highway 1 road trip, which does feel like I should be calling it something other than road trip, as we're not on the road, are we? I suppose sort of following the road, so yeah, maybe it's okay to call it that, don't know. So I did look up this flight on the map, and there's not too much in the way of places of interest on this leg, which is to Kaikoura, by the way. Yeah, nice enough scenery to look at, but no major towns or anything like that to chat about as we pass by them. So we'll have to come up with something else to talk about this time. And yeah, so what's been happening? Well, I suppose for this flying series we should now be keeping our fingers crossed that we can finish the road trip up to the top end of North Island before World War III starts. I have my doubts, but yeah, I mean, there's groups, regions, sometimes entire countries in the Middle East at the moment, currently controlled by total fucking genocidal idiots. Then with the Western world, there's obviously a whole level of politics, power, control, blackmail, which is all going on, and the likes of us are never going to stand a chance of unearthing or fully understanding that, are we? And I say obviously going on because, yeah, I can't see an alternative to that which would explain the blatant hypocrisy of the Western world towards a war in the Middle East compared to a war in Ukraine, or the attitude towards China when they're looking over the strait at Taiwan, or what the fat lad in North Korea's up to these days. Oh, and of course a few leaders, including my own, condemn things and call for ceasefires, and which is going to make about the same amount of difference as me saying that. So kind of would be nice, instead of saying something about it, they decide to do something about it. But yeah, I'll not hold my breath waiting for that. So yeah, forget the full length of Highway 1. If we just make it to the end of this video without World War III starting, I'll take that as a win. Yep. Other news. I see that the inquiry has started into the failure of the Ocean Gate submarine, which imploded on its way down to the Titanic. Suppose they do have to have an official inquiry just to confirm who's going to be suing who, but it does seem to be something of a waste of time. I mean, we already know why it failed. It was built by a twat who didn't follow rules and ignored data. The information was already out there, which showed it was likely that his carbon fibre section of his submarine would delaminate. Plus gluing carbon fibre to titanium, two materials which compress by differing amounts when they're put under pressure, and would therefore stress that joint. Yeah, that was one twat's ego thinking he was superior to the laws of physics. I mean, if it was just his own life he was playing with, that's fair enough, but getting other gullible people killed at the same time, oh yeah, I've mentioned this before about the live stream channel who often film things at my local airfield, Birmingham. A bit sad, but sorry, I just found this really funny. It's a family who do the channel. Husband does most of the filming and talking on camera. Wife looks after the live chat, but does do a small amount of filming herself when the husband is having something to eat. Which I've often wondered if that is code for, here, you have the camera for a moment, love, I'm going to go and have a walk over to the local airport hotel to have a shit. I mean, who knows, he may actually be eating something, but that is an entirely different conversation. We're going off on a weird tangent, aren't we? So, anyway, a couple of days ago, I forgot they also have a teenage daughter as well. So, a couple of days ago, husband and daughter are having a short holiday in Amsterdam. They start the stream nice and early. Husband says hello, goodbye. Then him and the daughter head off to the airport terminal to go and check in for their flight. The wife, who can't go with them this time for some reason, she's staying behind doing the usual live stream with the intention of filming the plane her family is on and seeing it take off. Now, they do have some nice beefy power banks to plug all their streaming software into, and have done really long streams in the past. I know one went over 10 hours, so that's not an issue powering all their stuff. Or shouldn't have been an issue because wife didn't notice they'd forgot to plug everything into the power banks, and the onboard batteries in the cameras, etc., all died in less than 3 hours, and the stream suddenly stopped about 15 minutes before the Amsterdam flight left. Yeah, so the number one reason they're there today, to film husband and daughter leaving on the KLM aircraft, you screw it up and the camera dies with just a few minutes to go. Genius. I don't know if there is a plan to film the landing back at Birmingham again, or if that's the end of it now and she's giving up on being a camera operator. But anyway, good news for you if you spend all day wondering what the time is, because now you can buy yourself a Donald Trump watch. Yeah, 3 different models, all of them look a bit shite, but the top of the range one is currently selling for $100,000. Now, you can find things on YouTube where watch experts have given a first impression of it, albeit just from pictures, as nobody's stupid enough to actually buy one. Now, watches do have that extra bit of supposed wow factor if you say they're Swiss made. And indeed, Donald Trump himself in the promotional video says that these are Swiss made watches. However, from the watch experts, you can apparently get around that by buying a few parts from Switzerland and then assembling things in a totally different country, and you can still call it Swiss made, which is exactly what has probably happened here, as the people who know what they're talking about, they say it has all the hallmarks of being made in China. Things like there being blue screws on the face of the watch, which do get used in China a lot, but blue screws are not a thing that gets used in watches that are actually made in Switzerland. So yeah, it's probably a Chinese made tourbillon watch. It really doesn't look very nice, and you could pick something like that up directly from China for hundreds of dollars instead of the $100,000 that this Trump version is priced at. Great. I'm sure they will sell them though. Apparently the expensive version is going to be a limited edition of 147 of them, and that rarity is enough, even if it is utter crap. But that did make me scratch my head slightly as to why the number is 147. Why not round it up to 150 or something? 147 just seems like a weird and very random number. Although the words weird and Donald Trump often do belong in the same sentence together, so yeah, there you go. Right, well here's Kaikoura. Not a huge amount of wind, so we'll just go with the straight in. Yeah, I do remember this. It's quite some time ago, back in X-Plane 11 maybe. I don't know. But X-Plane gave us an update which included some new assets and items to use in the scenery. And on one thread at the org forum, for some reason somebody was whinging about why did Lamina need to spend time and effort giving us lots of variations of caravans. Nobody's ever going to want that many caravans, are they? Right, so we'll just overfly this caravan park on our way in. Yeah. Guy flying a kite on the beach on the right hand side. Okay, looking good, and okay, not great. I think we were down before I started much of a flare on that one. Yeah, that was a little bit of a flight into the ground landing, but at a shallow enough angle where it wasn't too bad, I suppose. Nothing broken. My cargo of Donald Trump watches hasn't been damaged, so yeah, we're okay. Go and park up by the main building where apparently in real life there is a cafe. Wondering if they can do me some cheese on toast. Don't know why, just fancy some cheese on toast at the moment. Yeah, I think that will be happening when I hit the button to stop this recording. Yeah, cheese on toast and a cup of coffee. Although they don't really need to tell you about the cup of coffee, that's just obvious. Right. That will do. Okay, right, we've safely made it to Kaikoura then. Yeah, I'll see you again soon for the next one. Bye.